to petrol and to energy. Well, let's quickly move on to our next issue of discussion, where in the face of growing insecurity across the country, especially kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, separatist agitations, civil society organization and the security consulting organizations have cautioned the Chief Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, and other service chiefs against using false narratives on the insecurity ravaging the country. Now, the group's advice came in the reaction to last week's claims by a civil society organization, a national coalition of concerned citizens on peace and security, that the nation's security situation had greatly improved, even as it thanked the military high command for restoring peace in the country. The group insisted that insecurity was still rife in the country and that the minimum requirement was security agencies to up their game. Now, in the midst of this, Babajide, when we see things like this insecurity challenge still facing us, we are yet to have, will I say, a total eradication of this issue. But what makes it difficult? Why are we still in this mess? Is it the case of not having the right personnel or the security equipment to, tackle the situation? What do you think is responsible for this high rate of insecurity in the country?
Well, there is not one problem responsible for what we are going through.
Right.
There are all kinds of problems that we need to deal with. We've said repeatedly that we do not have enough personnel. And the truth is, there are so many ungoverned spaces in our country. So a country that does not have enough soldiers, does not have enough policemen, recruitment into the armed forces were frustrated for years, didn't happen. And every year, people get retired. I was reading the other day about soldiers that were retired. Some soldiers, once they get to the rank of Major General, they know they are going. No matter how young, virile, and still agile they are. Yet, we are not recruiting enough into the armed forces. Policemen get killed in action. Policemen retire. Policemen are dismissed for irresponsible behavior. We are not, the rate at which this, the rate of steady recruitment into the police, they've been arguing amongst themselves now. The Police Service Commission and the IGP's office about who has the mandate to recruit into the force. They've been arguing, they took themselves to court. And it's the Nigerian people that will suffer as a result of this. We have got to bring in more people into the armed forces. I have suggested in the past that even instead of simply creating a multiplicity of security organizations, we can beef up the police. Beef up the police, improve their numbers, provide them with the weapons that they need. Look, if the police have sufficient APCs, they can do some of what the soldiers are doing. We've seen a policeman, the head of the mobile force, police mobile force in Borno State, capture Boko Haram fighters, seized their weapons, released soldiers who are in their custody. Did you hear me? Mm-hmm. Soldiers in the custody of Boko Haram, he released them. And what did he have? The weapons, especially the armor personnel carrier, because it provides you that protection of thick armor. So small arms cannot penetrate it, whereas you have the latitude to fire at the enemy. The enemy cannot penetrate the thick armor with the they are carrying, especially the rifles and all that. So he was able to deal with these guys. If the police is provided with the kind of weapons that they need. Because what we are bringing soldiers to come and do, ideally, it shouldn't be the work of soldiers. If we provide the police with the equipment that they need, the helicopters, the reconnaissance aircraft that they need, because they should be able to also monitor our country, identify dark spots and all that, and then send their men to take care of the situation. If they have enough helicopters that they can use, provide the marine police with the speedboats fitted with gunners and all that they can use. If we generally improve the quality and quantity of equipment at the disposal of the police, I believe that the police can do better. Right. The same is also the army. You need to provide them with all that they need. The Air Force, you need to provide them with all that they need. I've spoken before about how other countries are doing this. Other countries are using drones. There are drones now that can stay airborne for a whole month.
A whole year, even.
They work on solar. They are just there helping you to comb the whole environment. There are some countries are already using it. Some countries in Southeast Asia, that's what they use. It's just solar. That way you save money. And the drones don't make noise. Unlike these attack helicopters and fighter jets that we use. Even before they get close to where the enemy is, the noise alone, if the noise of a is coming, they start running. The sheer noise of some of this our equipment. So, but the drones will not announce that it is coming until he gets really close and delivers his weapons. So there's a lot that we can do, even in terms of training. It's not just one thing that we will need to do that will solve this problem, you know? But I know that we really need to increase the numbers of our troops, because sometimes you take care of an area, you need to put troops there, at least for the foreseeable future. But if you don't have enough troops, you keep moving them around. That's what is happening in the Northeast. I know some communities in the Northeast where the army had captured up to 3 times. You go back there again to go and fight them, defeat them, hold the place for some time, and then when they are back, because the place is strategic to them, they will still come back.
So, Bolaji, you know, from what Babajide has said, indeed, we need to do a lot more, you know, in terms of policing our citizens, if we're to ensure that everyone is safe in our country. But then again, this bears the mind of state police, community policing. If we're to go by what Babajide has said, should we also consider state police so that we have enough personnel that would man stations or communities? For instance, like I understand that there was a community in Kaduna that had about 45 people abducted in a go, and all because they were far from the city center. So if we have state police in this regard, perhaps this could be contained. What do you think?
Yeah, the issue of state police has been on the front burner for a long time. We have discussed it, and issues have been raised concerning it, the good and the bad aspect of it. There have been fears concerning it. But I think we should look at the positive side of it. Like we rightly noted, if you have the state police, because they are part of that community, they are likely to know who the perpetrators of some of these crimes are. It is something that we need to reconsider. But apart from that, the issue of insecurity in the country, I was talking to a security expert before I got here. I always discuss with this guy occasionally like that, and he was telling me that, look, let me tell you, this insecurity, the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army, as presently constituted, has the capacity to eradicate this problem for us. He said they have satellite imagery that covers the entire country, that they can pinpoint where some of these people are. It's not as if that they are going to just get it. They already have it. He said they already have it. He's still a serving person. He said we already have it. He said apart from that, we have drones that we are talking. He said the only problem with our drones is that they are not harmed, but that we have the drones. And then apart from the drones that we have, he said, you know, maybe if you want to harm it, you know, the drones.
So the Air Force has
Exactly. Okay. Now we have the drones, and then you can also look at the telephone that they use. You can always track some
I
of
don't
this.
even know what's the essence of NIN.
Exactly.
These boys are still negotiating with phones.
So you see, his conclusion was that we are really not ready to tackle this problem holistically. And I want to agree with him. If you have all this, because when you are fighting some of these battles, you don't. It's about using technology.
Right.
And technology is very important. It's not as if we don't have these things. And he said something. He said religion is also part of it. And apart from that, he said, look, my brother, all this issue of abduction they are talking about, it is only because we have the social media that we are now hearing abduction all over the place. That it had always been something that was rampant in the north before now. It's only because because all these mines, they take people there, you just come and gather people and take them there to go and do all this mining and all those things. So, but because of the advent of social media, that's why everybody say, you recall in the 80s, 1982, when this man was the IGP, Sunday Adewusi, I don't know, the police, we had a very sound police. Yes, we went there. They routed these people, and that was it. That time, whatever, they're using hot water, different things, well equipped. Yes. But today, what's happening to the police?
They still have water cannon here in Lagos.
Okay.
The thing is, those equipment are not sufficient.
Lagos
has invested so much in the police, spent billions of naira on the police. Sometimes I even ask, without the state government buying equipment for the police, where would the police be?
And that's why we have those problems in other states. Because those states cannot match the capacity of Lagos states.
Right.
And that's why we have those
Because I
problems.
spent billions of naira.
Yes.
There was one day they showcased equipment that they bought in excess of 3-4 billion just for the police. And I'm like, what? Even for the marine police, they bought them boats.
Gunboats.
They bought helicopters for the air police.
So what are we not talking about? What if the state is doing that? So what is it? If a state can... Are you saying that if Lagos State wants anything from the police today, they won't do it for them?
Yeah.
They won't get it. They will.
The solution we need to do is to adopt.
We need to look at that.
More and more people now who oppose it in the past, they are now saying that, look, this thing is inevitable. And some people like the Cardinal Governor is one of the apostles of state police now. That was not the case some years back.
Right.
People are now saying that if the federally run policing system that we have cannot solve these problems. We've got to decentralize the police, let states be in position to protect themselves. And states that have the capacity to spend this kind of money on the police, if they had their own police, I'm confident that they will be able to do better, even much more,
Right. All right, you're still on to journalist.
My brother.